So what is next? What comes next is a tough question and hard to answer, but I have a couple of answers for you guys. As you probably all know, 2025 is now come and gone, and I think for Call of Duty content creators, this is probably the weirdest year in a very long time. I do not remember a Call of Duty game like Black Ops 7 being launched and having, just from the very beginning to when it was announced to the very end when it launched, just having absolutely no hype whatsoever at all. And then the game launches, and honestly, it's not horrible. The campaign was, but the multiplayer is not horrible. The zombies pretty good, yet no one seemed to care. And in a position like mine, where there's other games that are out, like Arc Raiders or Battlefield, what do I do? And it's very difficult to do so. And I started to change what we did within 2025, and it's going to change more and also less within 2026. And I wanted to explain to you guys what this is actually going to look like. So first things first, the biggest thing that changed for me in 2025 is the second channel, Ink TV. This was a channel that started out as stream highlights, let's plays, and eventually it just turned into me talking about my opinions on Call of Duty, Battlefield, Arc Raiders, and every video game under the sun. That channel, I truly believe within the next couple of months will probably hit 100,000 subscribers, and I upload 2 videos a day over there. I highly recommend you guys check it out because that's going to continue throughout this year. That's my goal, 2 videos a day from the beginning of the year all the way to the end. I talk about everything from my life to video games to sometimes movies and TV shows. It's everything over there, and based around opinions. I give my opinions unfiltered on everything. Sometimes you guys may agree with me, and sometimes you most definitely do not. So that's one side of the things that are going on, and that's based off of the live streams, which I am so torn on what I'm going to be doing with those in 2026. I always stream Monday through Friday over on Twitch, which, by the way, will be starting up again this week. Took a little bit of break for Christmas. I just don't know whether I'm also going to stream on YouTube on Ink TV. A lot of people have asked me to do so, as people are really annoyed with the ads on Twitch, as they should be. I'm thinking what I might do is that there may be like special streams that I do put onto YouTube. Like, for example, either Monday or Tuesday this week, I'm going to be streaming through the entire game of Dispatch, and I'm undecided whether I also do that on YouTube and have it go up as a VOD after over on Ink TV. But I know a lot of you have been asking for story videos on Dispatch. Just hold the phone on that one. But what is going down here on Inkslasher is the biggest question. And you may have noticed the past 3-4 videos that have gone up on the channel, the editing style has really changed. That is because I am working with a new editor who is amazing, and the first couple of videos we had some sound effects that were too loud, but he really honed it in on the Modern Warfare 4 story video, and we got really good feedback. So for those asking, am I going to continue with Call of Duty? The answer is yes, but we're going to be more so focused on story and maybe a little bit of documentaries like you've seen over the last little while than anything else. If news comes out for Call of Duty, we're going to tell it in a story. We're going to tell the past of Call of Duty and how that new news fits into the game, and that is the plan for that. The best example of a newer story video would be that Modern Warfare 4 story that just came out, but I think we're also going to have a further emphasis on older game story as well. One of my favorite videos that I made this year was on Sergeant Pearson. When they added Call of Duty World War II to Game Pass, I dove in, played through that campaign, and told some stories of those characters in that game, and they were actually some of my best performing videos throughout the entire year, surprisingly, about like a 10-year-old game. I'm going to continue that, and I think the game that I need to dive into and talk about, because I almost haven't talked about the story of this game at all on this channel, is Infinite Warfare. So this January, expect some story videos on Infinite Warfare. Now, the other type of video that I think I enjoy making the most, and another one of the videos that performed the best on the channel this year, was game theories. Now, the game theory that I am speaking of here is the one where we talked about how I think Arc Raiders' story is tied directly into the finals. Now, I made that video and everyone seemed to really enjoy it, and those are my favorite, to like build a theory out using the story of games. I want to expand that to more games. Just like the traditional story that we have for Call of Duty, I want to expand it not just into Call of Duty, not just into Arc Raiders, but all over the place with games like GTA. I think there's a lot that I could do with that. And yeah, I also have some like new things planned when it comes to story videos that I'm not going to tell you yet, but the first episode of that should probably come out this week. Now, if you know anything about content creation, January sucks. And the reason why January sucks is just ad revenue on YouTube is at the bottom. That's why you'll see a lot of content creators drop off the face of the earth through January, because they put all these effort into videos and they just don't make their money back on these. I am not going to be doing that. What we're going to be doing in January is trying new things, trying out some new series, trying out some new stuff. And that's what we're going to continue throughout this year. One of the new things that I tried out this year was doing timeline videos for new games. So like Silent Hill, for example, was one of them that I did. And those seem to do really well. So I'm going to, like, for example, Resident Evil is coming out early this year. There's a lot of Resident Evil games. There's a very long timeline there that this game fits into. So when things are coming out like that, you can probably expect to see a timeline video. And again, these aren't just for Call of Duty. My goal is to have one Call of Duty story video every single week in conjunction with other games, other game theories, other timelines, things along those lines. Aiming for 3 videos a week. That might start off a little bit slow in January. And then the final thing that you're going to see on this channel is kind of what the bread and butter for me has been year in and year out, is ending and story explained. Now, I already have a list of about 30 games that will be coming out in 2026. My goal is anytime a main game gets launched, even if it's like an indie game that has some popularity, is to do an ending explained, play through that game, and then bring you guys the story as told by me for that game. This is something that's difficult to do because a lot of people get like early access to games that I don't. I try to get early access. It doesn't always work. But ending explain videos, I think I'm going to do much more of those throughout this year. So all of that is what you can expect to see on this channel. And if you were to summarize it all into one thing, it's pretty plain and simple. This channel is all about story, telling the story of characters within games, telling the story of games in and of itself, diving into theories as to where stories could go and move in the future. And I think one thing that we're probably going to hear a little bit more about this year is probably the Call of Duty movie. And I would be interested to dive into that, but I don't know how copyright's going to work on that as a whole. But working with the new style of videos, new editing, I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's just going to take a little while to get everything into gear. So as a whole, I'm still going to be streaming Monday through Friday, playing games, talking about games, and recording videos for Ink TV. Those are going to go up 2 videos a day over there every single day. So if you want like the daily style content, that's where you're going to get that. Here, you are going to get much more highly edited, better written and spoken, and stories, a lot of stories. And that's personally my favorite thing to do on YouTube. And I think you guys have grown to see what we can really do with that. And let me tell you, it is only going to get better. I have some new ideas for some series and stuff, and those will be coming as well. So if you're hyped up for that, be sure to subscribe, turn notifications on. It should be all getting the ball rolling in the coming week. I just wanted to keep you guys informed on what's going on and where you should be if you want different types of content. I guess that's all for now, and best of luck in 2026, everyone. I hope we go big. We are